The lighting in Venice Boat Harbor, see it's encumbered, I'm not sure what that one was.
We got the boat boys.
Oh, the boat hoist. and,
178.
Venice Shipyard.
I'd like to say something. We almost $4 million in debt for the boat harbors, and we keep spending money at the boat harbors. We're gonna have to collect some money sooner or later from a lot of those people. I mean, we so far behind now at the boat harbors, it's unreal, and we keep spending money. And we in debt up to our ears.
Our director is in charge of that, is working on that as we speak.
Thank you.
Oh, I'd like to correct something I said earlier with regard to Port Eats. The actual agreement was done by the Port Eats nonprofit. The legal department did review the agreement, but when I said it was signed off by Parish President Mr. Palazzo, it was actually signed off by the Port Eats Fishing Refuge, which was the nonprofit that was created by the council to manage Port Eats and the property.
So the nonprofit put us on the hook for that?
The nonprofit is an extension of the council. The council created the nonprofit to manage the property. They used the state statutes to create that nonprofit, which is legal, and that's the agreement that was signed with the nonprofit, yes. And I can bring those documents for y'all tomorrow.
You know, this is not a time to editorialize it, but I couldn't see how a government gives somebody else the authority to put us on the hook.
There's a state statute that allows governmental bodies to create nonprofit entities to manage certain properties that are nonprofit or that can be used by the government or serve a governmental function or public purpose. So yes, there's a Louisiana state statute that permits that. And the previous council chose to exercise that state statute that was all approved by ordinance or resolution.
There is a hoist in Venice, there's only one hoist, and if it's, unless it's something additional, that may be a carryover from the original project that Ms. Cooper had.
That could be just a height.
Let me check on that, I'll give Ms. Glenda, the harbor master down there, a call.
The original project was a grant, and for the shipyard that was built,
Right,
so
right.
it's complete, the grant's been.
I know they changed the hoist motor and stuff.
Right, they went to a larger, they extended the hoist higher.
They increased our money.
Correct.
Right.
It could have been either one.
I'll get back with that tomorrow.
Okay, the 5 million yet?
We need to do a whole lot of this, that's from the last time. All right, we'll go to the next page, page 5. This is the last page of the capital improvements. We'll start off with the disaster communication upgrade, number 180.
There's a lot of telecommunication projects that we're working on that I would request that you keep all the money that we need. That 124, we're gonna need it this year.
Right next.
181, computer replacement project.
I'm not sure what that one is.
These are funds that are left over from when we replace the computer. We'll probably need these funds for when we make the move. We move over everything, we serve everything, so we'd ask you to leave that money in there for that.
Right next.
190.
190? 190.
That is ongoing.
Who is that?
Is that enough studies?
That is ongoing with regional planning. That is PERCOM, Peter.
We don't want y'all to get soft on us now. We still trying to get down to our bottom line.
I agree, but this is money is what? Oh, it's not obligated, is it?
This won't take place.
That one will be on that list that I provide to the administration of the open contracts.
That 184 you're talking about?
The 176, number 190.
I mean, next. Anybody want to take that out? Just let me know.
I don't think we can. I think that money's contingent upon DOTD moving forward with anything, right?
Again, I'll have to verify with our hook for, with regional planning.
My concern about this type of thing is that we're at least 10 years out on this bridge. Will this environmental study be valid in 10 years from now? No. Absolutely not, right? So, would you get the open-ended contract for your next report and let's see where we're at?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
192? 190?
190, yes.
192?
The Bureau's flagpole, I'm not sure what was done on it. That was handled by the prior administration. That's the Chasse Drive flagpole.
It's there, I mean. I don't know what they need to do to it.
I'm not sure if they repainted it or they changed out the halyard.
Well, this money's available?
I believe you can take that money out.
Okay.
The Port Sulphur flagpole and sign, we have a project that's ongoing with that, with the intersection to the Port Sulphur River Road from 23. We're incorporating that money with that project, so we need that money to continue with that project. Both of those, 193 and 194.
Now, that, again, is going to be coordinated with the 4 lane?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
It won't be.
So just looking for the coordination.
Okay, 196 is the next one. Jerry, transportation emissions.
Joey's using this to pay for the pride.
Excuse me?
Joey's gonna be using these funds to pay for the pride.
Okay, so they're on the shipyard now, spending this, okay.
All right, next is the 199, water monitoring SCADA system.
That's an ongoing project that we're doing with telecommunications. That's just another one that we've had several locations that SCADA is very expensive, and as we move forward, we've used some of our funding for one location that we're going to need every dollar we can for telecommunications. So I appreciate y'all keeping that in the budget for now.
Next,
200, sign East Bank.
Completely the sign. Because Audrey has a sign, he's gonna need a sign.
I won't touch that one.
All right, the next thing is 203, ferry preventive maintenance, fiscal year 2012. This is part of a grant.
Okay.
Didn't work, did it?
I'm not sure with that. We'd have to contact the fire department and see what's what with that one.
that will be Mr. Giles.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oyster Hatchery next.
Oyster Hatchery is actually a project moving forward. The permitting is just about done and approved. The funding, we have an agreement with LDWF for the Bureau's Boat Harbor to have the bulkhead built around the peninsula where the little lighthouse is at the end. And we will have this is fast tracking. In the next 2 months, you should see something being put on the streets for bid. They're looking to make the next oyster season.
So we don't have any other.
There's 7,000 at this point. I'll leave it if, 7,000.
No, I'm saying it's not on any further obligation other than the 7,000?
I don't think we're gonna need this,
Oh, okay.
but before you take it, let us go off a bid and see what's what.
Great.
All right, next one, number 206, dredging the Luke Canal.
I don't know if Mr. Edgecombe stepped out.
I think he had to leave.
Oh, he did.
Then we can come back to this tomorrow.
Or we can take it now.
I think he knows it's gonna be taken, but if you wanna wait, give him courtesy.
He's coming back tomorrow?
He just said he may come after lunch.
Okay. We'll put this on the flag list.
I got it. And next thing, dredging Suzie Bayou and Deer Range Canal.
That
Got much
project,
money left there,
the
$3,000.
design of that is done. Unless we get some sort of funding to help us with the dredging of it, that's not gonna happen.
Another one on the shelf. Take the 113,
No,
It's not even 113,
it's
it's,
only 36.
$36, that's all.
Take it before the engineers get
Excuse
it.
me, what's going on with that? You guys?
the permitting was pushed forward, but the construction money is not there. We had done, when we met with Mr. Turner, to discuss the location of where we would put the spoil, that project permitting was finalized, but the funding to do the actual dredging, we're gonna come to you when we get a good number. At this point, we don't have the funding to do the dredging. Mr. Hinyup's gonna be glad to hear that.
Who?
Mr. Hinyup?
But we do have a set of plans on the shelf.
Yes, sir.
Plenty of those.
Next.
All right, 215, aviation airport phase 1.
Take it out.
Airport,
Where we at?
it should have been scratched yesterday.
Next.
Okay. 219, update hazard mitigation plan.
That is actually ongoing.
There's no fund there.
New money. It's encumbered, okay.
Made it easy. All right, 222, community rating system.
That's something they need for our insurance. Something about homeowners. Okay.
Yes, GCR is working on the CRS program with our permits department.
And I think that's it.
That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hour is now 3:38. We,
Hey, I got a question for you.
yes, sir.
Number 216,
216?
yeah, that money in the packet hasn't been funded yet. Is it gonna be funded this year?
HHUD Frank?
Yeah.
I have to talk to the grants department on that, that's not really mine.
Nothing has been started with those.
Yeah.
But it's not the housing, right?
392 is the elevations. That is, you see like 223, 224, 225. That's part of the allocation.
Okay, gentlemen, ladies, is there anybody else want to offer anything up before we leave today?
I'd like to address the issue that was asked earlier regarding the judgment, under the judgment section, I believe Ms. Sullivan requested. Essentially what that payment was, we had an employee who was in part-time and then became was part-time at least working, I believe it was 28-hour minimum. And by state law, she was supposed to be included into the parochial system. And the parish was mistaken at the time, did not put her in the parochial system, and was also taking out Social Security money. It was apparently making payments to the Social Security Administration. When the research was done on the issue, we were in fact taking the money out of her check, but we were not depositing it into the Social Security account. But besides that, that's not what we should have been doing all along. We actually should have been having her in the parochial system. So when she discovered that, she contacted the administration. Mr. Mike Mullen, the attorney, reviewed the information. She made a determination.
You address it, and I'm gonna ask.
He made a determination based on Attorney General opinions and also a court case that the parish was in fact at fault. And so therefore, we were responsible not only for our share, but also the employee share and the actuarial costs associated therewith. So my understanding is that that judgment was to pay that claim by that employee.
Now, let me delve into this a little bit.
I didn't, and just for the record, Mr. Mullen handled the case. I was not the primary lawyer on the case, so I'm just referring to you what's in the file.
Well, let me reflect a little bit about my knowledge of the situation. What we're saying here is we paid $197,000 to the parochial retirement system for an employee who was supposedly working full-time back in the 80s. Is that correct?
No, sir, qualified, well, she was working part-time, prior to her qualifying, because she was working a minimum of 28 hours, whatever it is. I believe it's 28 hours under the parochial system. Whether or not, and it's my understanding that she was working part-time even prior to that.
Could you give me the years that we bought the time for her?
Yes, sir, I can. It'd be August 23rd, 1982 to June 30th, 1988. And the payments that we made were the payments that were forwarded to us, or at least what would be required by the parochial system to get that employee current.
So we went back almost 25, 30 years to settle a claim that was brought just recently in the last 2 or 3 years for one employee. And when you say judgment, did we go to court on that?
I don't think there was an actual case on it. I believe that she made a claim to the government, and after the attorneys reviewed the case, settled the case. Well, like I shouldn't be saying case. Settled her claim without us going to court, because the Mr. Mullen felt, based on the Attorney General opinions and based on the case law out there, that we were in fact responsible for the payment.
And do you have any actual documents in the file that show that the government was actually holding out Social Security and not remitting them to the federal government?
There are some Social Security forms in here, and yes, it's my understanding that that's the case, and certainly we'll let you look at it. But because it involves an employee, I'm not going to discuss the actual employee or too much of the specifics here at this open meeting.
Well, I understand, and I'm not naming any names, but it's hard for me to believe that the government went back into the 80s to pay a claim. When I served as the parish president here for 8 years, and never once did the claim come before me. And that was 12 years ago. No, actually 16 years ago. And so what I'm saying is that just as I've had problems with the legal department, and I mentioned it to you, and you don't have to take it personal, but when the legal department makes a decision to settle a claim like that without litigation, without hearing all of the evidence and all of the facts before an impartial judge, and writes a check for $197,000 for one employee, I have a problem with that. Because I believe that the parish's interest is above all interest, and that we shouldn't be taking that, because there are other employees that fit in that same category. And I'm not going to get into any more discussion than that, but that is a prime example of where the parish's interest was not taken into consideration.
Right. Well, once again, I wasn't here to discuss the merits. I was simply answering Ms. Salvian's question about what that 195 was in reference to.
And my purpose of bringing that question up, Mr. Beers, was just for what's taking place now, to inform the public of what abuse that took place back under that previous administration. They knowingly, that the legal department knowingly that there were others, and they refused to take the same action that they took for this individual.
And just to correct the record, that this could not have been paid without the cooperation of the council. So the previous council had to appropriate the money to settle this judgment. Now, whether or not, or this, I shouldn't say judgment, I should say claim. And also, I don't know, but it was my understanding that some other names were put forward before the previous council, and what happened to those, I don't know.
And just to correct you, sir, I understand you keep referring to the council, which you fall short of saying the previous council. And what happened was that's where the corruption started. And that's where the intent started with that council. Because that was a group of individuals or council members that saw fit to come up with this scheme when they know there was others out there. Matter of fact, I'm one of the individuals. That falls in that same category. Okay, and it just fell on deaf ear. It died on the vine because of the fact of because of the individual. Not because of, the representing the government. So I I have full knowledge of what took place there.
And the only other thing I can say is that if these claims are still viable, any and all employees are welcome to bring them to the administration's attention. And the current council is,
Mr. Beers, two other individual employees brought it to their attention. And right now, I think it died on the vine because it appeared in executive session one time when we first came on, and then it just disappeared because I think Mr. Mullins refused to move on it. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that out to the public.
Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, can I ask Mr. Serpaz if we can get it looks like we reviewed 18 different either departments or other governmental organizations and also finished the capital improvements. Do we have a total of that? Yeah, just to give us an idea where we're at tomorrow. And don't include the ordinance on the tape, talking about just,
Right, just the stuff we covered.
Yeah, yeah.
Put that down.
2,439,000.
How much?
2,439,000, 139, if y'all want the exact number.
So we're a little less than halfway there,
Right.
and we're
Try to
trying
collect, you're gonna try to cut the whole 5 million, and not use any of the funding.
on the bonding down this fund.
Right, right.
Well, it would be my intention that hopefully we probably can wrap this up tomorrow maybe without having a third day if
Well,
with
what
a
you
little
got
luck.
left is, that's what I'm doing right now, put down the departments that you have left. Shouldn't take that long, we work through those pretty fast. The other things,
departments of our time?
we're gonna try to, yeah.
We'll all be
All directors.
9 o'clock.
Right, you did the capital improvements already, you did, so we have manpower to do, which could take, take a little time, but you're just gonna basically see the vacancies that are there. And then, and go through the departments, so we'll try to get it done tomorrow, if we keep going pretty quick.
I thank y'all for your indulgence. I know it's been a long day. It's been a lot of painstaking, but
I mean, I'd really be glad if we could finish up tomorrow, because we still have to put the orders together to try to get introduced to the meeting, and get ready for the council meeting too, so.
we will do our best.
Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the administration, we want to thank the council for their first day efforts, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being here. It's been a long time since we've seen the president this long in one place, one city. I know it's a long day, but we thank you for coming. Thank you, administration. Thank all the council members. At this time, I'll recess till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Objection?